play our music. Oh yeah, Raid got canceled tonight. You saw that, right?
Yeah, I just saw that. More time to level and get stuff.
Yeah, sucks that he's sick. I hope he gets better. On the upside, it gives Anthony a little more time to get a build ready.
Right, true. Your voice is weird on Discord.
My voice is weird on Discord?
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it.
Alright, well, that's not what's picked up by the OBS, so I'm not worried.
Okay, it's I can understand about 90% of what you're saying. We'll be able to get through this fine.
Better?
It sounds the same to me, but it's alright. We're gonna make it work.
Alright, going live in 3, 2, 1. Everybody, it's time to party! It is Sunday, and we are doing another Super Game Cast. But that's not what's important, because Mahvel is back, baby! Let's go!
Amazing.
The dream is not dead! Marvel vs. Capcom! It's all the old ones, but that's okay! Fuck yes!
Oh, right. Yeah. All I know is I recently went to a fighting game tournament, and those people were lugging around CRTs and Dreamcasts. Like, nearly a dozen of them. And now it is no longer necessary.
I'm gonna tell the fighting game community this right now. You better fucking buy this, so we get a Marvel vs. Capcom 4. You better fucking buy this. I better not fucking turn in the first month this thing is out and see, oh, it did like 100,000 copies. It did okay. No, I want to see this blew Capcom's wildest expectations out of the water, and everyone bought this fucking thing.
So, okay, so here's a question. It's like, I don't know. I looked up Marvel vs. Capcom stuff specifically too.
Mm-hmm.
And the game is a fantastic thing to look at. It's I like seeing people getting excited about it, but it also seems fucking broken.
Oh, it's super busted. It's
And
way
people
broken.
like when this announced, like social media was like, "Man, I can't wait until people get absolutely bodied by this broken shit." And I'm like, this doesn't sound appealing. I don't know why you're posting like this.
See, to me, the part of Marvel vs. Capcom that's always been appealing is how unbelievably fucking busted it is. Like, just absolutely fucking, just out the ass insanely busted. You know, like that's the part of that game that has actually always been appealing to me.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out like you're gonna try and sell this to a newly revived FGC, not newly revived, but like better than ever,
hmm
and you're introducing generations to it. I wonder how they're gonna take it.
I think that it kind of depends. Like, I think it's going to be similar to how this game was took when it first came out. Like, if you go read reviews of this game, it's very like polarizing. And a lot
Right.
of people also complain about the soundtrack, which is weird to me because
That's weird.
yeah, the soundtrack's dope. Like,
Yeah.
you go read the IGN review on the Dreamcast version, it's like this fucking jazzy loud lizard shit doesn't fit the game at all. And I'm like, fucking what? Okay,
I mean,
sure.
again, like if you've never encountered a fighting game before and you hear fighting game with that soundtrack, it doesn't sound like it would work. But then you actually boot it up and it does.
Yes, it totally does. You know,
And now, like, in 2024, I can't imagine, a Marvel vs. Capcom or a number of fighters without that kind of soundtrack.
once again, yes, 100%.
But
Uh,
yeah.
well. So I think, but like I think the way it's gonna be taken is the same way all the time. There's gonna be people who enjoy it for its wacky, crazy bullshit, and then there's gonna be people who are like, "This isn't balanced in any way at all. This sucks." I'm like, okay, man. Let me tell you, the most perfectly balanced fighting games are always boring ones. Like for real.
Fair, but man, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it's like 6 characters.
Oh yeah, no, it's that shit is.
I watched people competing in that tournament, and I'm pushing it. I'm maxed at 6 different characters.
But I see that in almost every fighting game when you start hitting the top level anyway.
I don't
Like
know. I see people trying other stuff when I go watch tournaments.
I do, but like when you go into like top 8 for like Street Fighter last season, it was like Luke, Ken, Luke, you know.
Yeah, but it kind of sucks for 3v3, and it's like the same three versus the same three
Yes, I
a
agree,
lot.
but I also think that it's going to create this thing where there is going to be a couple of people who are going to find a way to make characters that are fucking garbage super
Well,
viable.
so that's the hope, right? You have a whole new group of people who have a whole different vantage point on fighting games now, and they can come in, and it's like maybe they'll make something work.
Well, people have been already getting into the emulated version. Um,
Sure.
and one of the things that people have done are like make combos already that Justin Wong hasn't seen. Like he put out a
Okay.
YouTube video this week of like, oh hey, look at this crazy bullshit that wow, I've never seen that before. So yeah, that is something to consider. Um,
It is.
so
Yeah. It's a real make or break, and it's not a given that it's gonna go either way.
no, I think all the guys like us and me and and like Jesse and fucking our entire Discord that's into the fighting games is gonna buy it.
Right.
But and I posted it in the Reno FGC, and a lot of people were pretty stoked. But
Sure.
you know, and a lot of people were happy about ease of use. Um, I also heard one of my favorite ones is multiple people have said, "Yeah, we're buying the physical PS4 version, so it can't ever be taken away from us again."
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So,
true.
right, that's why I buy two copies. I'm buying the PC version and I'm buying a physical PS4 copy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take it away from me now.
Right. Yep.
um, God. So, yeah, but
I don't know. We'll see.
that was the biggest news for at least me that came out of that direct. But we're gonna go through the rest of it.
It was funny. I was in one of my Discord groups. Everyone's like, "Have you all seen the big news?" And I was just kind of scrolling through, and I was like, "Whoa! Oh, this isn't what they're talking about. If I scream about this, I'm gonna be the only one. I know it. So okay, well,
Oh, what were they like hyped about Metroid Prime? I'm guessing.
it was Metroid or Animal. No, not Animal Crossing. The Legend of Zelda thing.
Oh,
One of those two.
I had a very similar experience because I didn't even watch it until later in the day. I just was like, I got online, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, how's the direct? Because I knew he got up and watched it. And he's like, yeah, it was pretty good. They announced this, and one of them was like Marvel versus Capcom, collection. And I
Yeah.
immediately say, what?
Right.
What? Like, just I didn't believe him. I'm like, what? No, this has
Oh,
to be
it's
a
out of
lie.
nowhere.
This is a lie, Anthony. And Anthony, how can you say that so casually? How can you lie to me so casually? And you
It's
know,
out of nowhere and from Nintendo of all places.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's coming to everything, but yes,
I know, but the
but
announcement came from Nintendo.
I guess maybe it's like Capcom definitely sees them as the biggest audience, especially for these collection things. I guess we'll skip ahead in the news stories to, hey, this isn't coming to Xbox.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, let's talk about this. No
Yeah.
Xbox.
So it got revealed at Nintendo, and it got confirmed that's coming to PC, PlayStation, and Switch, of course. No Xbox, and a lot of people are speculating it's one of two things. Um,
Okay.
and the more likely thing is that because their games sell so much worse on Xbox, especially in these weird older collection things, that it's just not worth doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because these kind of collections, they're meant to be like, yeah, we put some time into them, but they're not like huge money or time sinks. And so there's that. Because someone put out a chart of like what the Phoenix Wright collection sold, and like on Switch it's like 400,000 copies, on PC it's like 200,000, PlayStation it's like 130, and then Xbox it's like 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, so why are we doing this? Why are we spending
Exactly.
like the money to certify, the money for all the shit? And then the other theory is like Xbox has this requirement now that everything has to be for Series S/X, nothing more for Xbox One.
Right.
And the engine that this is running on is MT Framework, which is like the Capcom engine from the 360 days.
Oh,
And
okay.
the and apparently they never made tools to make it work properly on Series S/X because they moved on to RE Engine for most things.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And they just thought, oh well, it's backwards compatible, so we don't need to meet this requirement.
Mm.
And Microsoft, and they didn't want to bother going to Microsoft to make an exception for a game that's only going to sell 5,000 copies.
That's just the way it is.
Yep, and then there's a whole bunch of people saying, I get a bunch of Xbox fanboys on Twitter being like, "This is awful. How could they do this?" I'm like, "Cause you fuckers don't buy games. Like that's why. You know, go buy
There aren't
games.
enough Xbox people buying those games.
They're playing them all on Game Pass. They have trained they've trained their audience to wait for shit to come to Game Pass. You know, that's it.
Yeah, that doesn't help either. Yeah.
I mean, it's true because for Xbox games, specifically games I'm playing on my Xbox, I bought one game in 2021. It was Guardians of the Galaxy. I bought
Mm-hmm.
0 games in 2022, and I bought one game in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't buy games for the fucking Xbox. I just play games on Game Pass or old games I
They
already own.
they came out with this plan as a way to get the most bang for your buck, and in return it's like, all right, that this is how I'm going to just check out games. I'm not this is not it's not a priority for me to buy things here.
No, I don't unless you only own an Xbox. I don't think it
Right.
you would. If I only owned a Series X, yes, I'd be buying everything there. That'd be a
Mm-hmm.
different story. That's not the case though. I own a PS5 and I have PC. So, yep.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the Xbox side of things. Sorry that you guys don't get to live this awesome moment. Um, the thing is though, is like I keep, I have yet to get a response to this. Like I've seen like Xbox fanboy accounts essentially. You know, weirdly enough, with like tens of thousands of followers in some cases on Twitter. Um, and my response is, why don't you just buy a PC?
If you're an Xbox user, like that's kind of where you just got to go at this point.
Like, I get the appeal of console, I really do. In fact, as I get older, I'm more and more a fan of it. Um, you know, but like, you're at the point where you're starting to miss on third-party games. And yes, like Monster Hunter Wilds is still coming to Xbox, and some other big games are still coming. But like, it's starting to miss some indies here and there. It's starting to miss some AA or collection titles like this.
Yeah.
It's like okay, if enough of these dominoes fall, it's gonna start being a AAA game here or there, and it's like, do you really want to like be in that situation. And
Mm-hmm.
get a. I know dudes who do this, who they buy a PC specifically to play games on, and hook it up to a TV and jump through the hoops to make it more of a console-like experience.
Right.
It's kind of still a giant pain in the ass, but it's definitely not as easy as hooking in an Xbox or a PlayStation and just go. But
Right.
you can make it closer. You can get a wireless controller, get a mid tower that's kind of small, and or an ITX tower, and put it next to your TV, and get a wireless controller and a wireless keyboard and mouse, and like there's stuff you can do to make this experience happen. Like I said, it's not ideal, and then occasionally a game comes out and it's fucking borked, like Jedi Survivor, and then you're just like, well, fuck. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this is actually a big part of another reason why I'm happy I own a PS5. But you
It's the
know,
unfortunate truth.
it's like if the console port is or if the PC port is fucked, doesn't matter to me. I'll just go play it on my PlayStation.
That's, I mean, well, this is the whole thing, right? Like trying to, uh, in the console war mindset, think about like the Xbox brand. Like, okay, what are we doing this for at this point on the user end?
Like I don't
It's
know.
literally Game Pass.
It's yeah, like like that's the thing is like I use my Xbox to play 360 games and
Yep.
for Game Pass. Like it's a 360 emulator because 360 emulation is a giant pain in the ass to put up with,
Mm-hmm.
and it's for Game Pass. Like like I can go out and download Exoprimal and try it and think this is sick. I
Right.
can like that's why I keep my Xbox around.
That's really it. Like, it's
Yeah.
the only way I'm going to try a lot of games that I otherwise wouldn't even think about.
Yeah,
Like,
like it's how I'm gonna end up trying another Crab's Treasure.
mm,
Like that
right.
game came to Game Pass and it's fucking awesome and like yeah, like in fact they're doing a good job of going out and getting indies for the service. If anything, like it's
Again, when it comes to serving the service itself, they've been great. But again, like it really shows that their concentration has been on just making Game Pass happen,
yep,
because that's kind of the biggest thing it has going for it right now.
yep, absolutely. Like that's how I
So,
played Tunic day one. Tunic was on that service day one.
yep, wouldn't have
But
tried it
it's
otherwise.
yep. So it's one of those things where like they've like okay, so Microsoft, are you going to pay third parties to make games for Xbox in co-marketing deals? So that way it won't be on Game Pass and it won't get bought, so you're not going to get your 30%, you're not going to get anything until the studio says, "Oh, it's a couple years old, we'll put it on Game Pass now."
Right.
you know.
Yep. So it's an unfortunate truth for Xbox people. I don't know how those numbers work for Xbox because they don't show those numbers. So we just kind of have to be like, mm, good luck.
Exactly.
I still don't like. I'm glad I have a modern Xbox so that I can still play my skate games. But honestly, at this point, I have a PC. I access my Game Pass PC games through there. That's about all Xbox is to me now at this point. So
Fair.
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense entirely. Like Xbox is I play 360 games or I play games like that I want to play on a big TV through Game Pass. Like it's the Game Pass box and the
Hmm.
Game Pass PC service. That's they accomplish their goal and they get my $17 a month. So I guess they won? Question
Who
mark.
knows, right? Who knows until they go under and someone writes the tell-all book.
Yep. Or someone leaves the company and 15 years from now writes the tell-all book.
It's
Yep.
Phil Spencer.
I would love to see the fucking Phil Spencer book about all this.
This shit was fucked by Phil Spencer. Uh,
I'm in a constant battle with wanting to do what's right for gaming and this platform, but also with upper management. Fucking Satya Nadalia's a dick, you know. Fucking.
I had to get out in front of people after the Redfall shit and was forced to tell them like, look, these things happen. Good games aren't enough. Can you believe I said that shit? I can't believe it.
Well, that's what I was told to fucking do. I couldn't do anything else.
I said this is
Like,
bullshit, but this is my job, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Wild. It's so wild. It's oh my god. What I have realized as I have gotten older, no matter what your job is, you are beholden to someone or a group of fucking assholes at some points.
One way or another.
Like even if you own a business, you're beholden to your angel investor or your customers. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like it's wild.
You gotta. The whole point is you're working with other people, and sometimes other people are assholes.
It's fucking a dude.
I mean,
So
we also don't want to acknowledge, we don't want to really confront the fact that how much of this is Phil? And it's an uncomfortable question, but how much of this is Phil just not managing properly? I don't know.
I think it's a little bit of that. I think that he definitely had no idea how the fuck to manage a portfolio, especially one this big. But I also think that the closure of Tango GameWorks and some of the recent moves they've made definitely feels like corporate Microsoft being like, motherfucker, you just spent $69 billion.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make some fucking money, you know. So that's my take, and we'll see how Call of Duty does this year. Of course, I feel like that's what everyone is waiting on in bated breath. Is just like, what's Black Ops 6 gonna
Right.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one.
Like that's someone pointed out like, oh man, why aren't they putting all the old Call of Duties on the service yet? And Jeff theorized that it's like, well, Activision always leaves the old Call of Duty games at full price until they're like 10 years old because of the fact that they don't want you playing those. They want you playing the newest one.
Right.
So putting the old ones on Game Pass, they don't want to cannibalize Black Ops 6. In fact, they don't want to experiment with anything until they see what Black Ops 6 does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes.
I
You
don't
know.
know.
Oh, so yeah, no, it's ooh, they're in a precarious place.
I just want to talk about how we started this podcast immediately jumping into talking about Marvel vs. Capcom, and we still found a way to very quickly turn it back to Xbox health conversations.
It's it's they keep doing shit every
Every week
fucking week.
something's happening with them, and
It's
it's just like,
it,
and it's them not doing something here. It's like, how did you? All right,
how
you
did
missed
you
out on
get
this, huh?
into? You didn't have any news this week. Nothing like it's like literally you just. Oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
dear lord, man, go out of your way. Go talk to Capcom. And be like, we'll port it. We'll bring it over. Jesus
Capcom
fucking
games are
Christ.
hot right now. Like, you should be jumping on this.
Yeah, like the
Do
entire
what we
like
gotta do.
yeah, like my feed went nuts over this, but anyway, the other stuff from the Nintendo Direct. Let's talk about that. Let's talk
Sure.
about that. We are getting a new Mario and Luigi game, Mario and Luigi Brothership, where Mario
Yeah.
and yeah, so one of those fun little RPGs, uh, slash in this case platformers. Nintendo is really going big on the Mario RPG this past year and a half. Because last year
Interesting.
we got the remake of Super Mario RPG on the SNES. We
Mm-hmm.
got the remaster of Thousand Year Door, and now we're getting a new Mario and Luigi game. Um, lot of Mario RPG this year. I didn't really particularly care for most of these games besides Bowser's Inside Story,
Sure.
but like
A number
up,
of people really like those games, so.
yeah, they're enjoyable. We're getting Nintendo World Championship NES edition,
Okay.
so which is like this speed running NES challenges thing, basically. That's what it is.
Sure.
It's just here, do this thing in Zelda, do this thing in Punch Out, do this thing in whatever, and it's an NES game. It's a speed challenge. You can do head-to-head players in person, and it's out this July.
Okay.
Oh, Mario and Luigi's out November 7th. Sorry. We're getting a new Fairy Tail game, like the anime. So it's
Oh,
a
sure.
yeah, Fairy Tail 2, and it's a turn-based JRPG.
Cool.
I'm gonna be real. If I liked the Fairy Tail anime more, I'd play the fuck out of this. This looked great.
I'm huge for the fairy tale fans.
I should let Ray know.
If he doesn't
Uh,
already. If he doesn't
yes.
already know.
They got the new game from the original Final Fantasy creator, Hironobu Sakaguchi. Fantasia Neo Dimensions, turn-based RPG. This was originally a phone game, but now it's being ported to Switch.
Hmm.
Coming this holiday.
Okay.
This is a game I keep meaning to buy. This next one, so it's getting free DLC. Nintendo Switch Sports is getting basketball.
Yo, all right.
I really want to play Nintendo Switch Sports. I just keep forgetting about it. Like
Well,
like
there's a lot of damn games.
there are, but like I think this would be a fun game to have people over for. Relive
Sure.
Wii Sports a little bit.
Yeah.
So, indie game Mio Memories in Orbit. It's this very pretty watercolor world. Looks like platformer. Possibly a Metroidvania by looking at it, and it's out in 2025.
Okay.
Speaking of platformers, Disney Illusion Island is coming, and it's out on Tuesday. Or it was out, sorry, last Tuesday. Excuse me, it's out. You can go play that. You can go
Oh
play
shit.
this Disney platformer.
Cool.
Alright, South Park fans are going to love this one. This
Uh-huh.
was originally a phone game. Hello Kitty Island Adventure is
All right.
out, and it is on Switch. Play that now. And Nintendo just deleted the licensed IP this direct. Yo, Aaron, do you miss arcade sports games?
I do.
Well, Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports got your back.
Oh. Okay.
And it is coming to Switch this fall. I don't know, it actually does look
Interesting.
pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, I might check this
It
one out.
looks fun in that like, they used to make flash games. Well, I mean they do still, but we used to play these flash games on like Newgrounds and things. This gives me that vibe of just like I'm gonna play some small Looney Tunes sports games. Why not?
Oh yeah, why
Sure.
not? I don't know, like you're playing it, you see that soccer match where the anvil falls out of the sky. That could be
It's
fun.
good. It's good. Great.
Among Us is getting a free update on Tuesday.
Mm.
Then we got a new indie game called Farmagia, and you raise a monster army. This
Ooh.
this kind of looks like Viva Pinata meets Pokemon, with a little bit of an
Interesting.
element where you do these huge Dynasty Warriors battles.
Oh God.
Yeah, this looks weird. This looks cool though. It's coming to Switch in
Yeah.
November.
Okay.
Hey, you remember that really dope Wii game, Donkey Kong Country Returns, when they brought back Donkey Kong?
Sure.
They are doing an HD remaster, and it's going to include all the extra bonus content from the 3DS version as well. And on top of that, it's out January 16th.
Okay.
I love these games, especially I like the second one more, but that's already been ported to Switch. But like, I played the shit out of these games. They're so good.
Sure.
They're so absurdly good. Their soundtracks are like perfect. If you want, you know, arguably the best you can get out of a 2D platformer, this is it.
Okay. Goddamn.
So, yeah. And it does some really cool art stuff. Like, highly recommend these games if you like 2D platformers. Like, especially the second one though. That one's already out. Go play that. It's dope. It's super good.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Dragon Quest 3 is getting a remake, but it's
Okay.
like that 2D HD thing, and it's coming
Hmm.
to Switch on November 14th. So
Neat.
there you go.
All right.
A Funko Pop game is happening. We're not going to talk about that though because that's I don't know. Just no.
That's a Funko Pop.
Yep. Luigi's Mansion 2 is getting an HD upgrade and it's coming out in 5 days or 4 days, excuse me. So, if you want to play Luigi's Mansion 2 in HD, there you go. I personally think that this game I don't know. I think I would rather have the first one ported to Switch.
Hmm.
I like 2. I like 2 a lot, but it does feel very much like a game that was built for like the 3DS style of mobile gameplay of like
Right.
play this for 20 minutes on the bus, flip it down, put it in my pocket
Hmm.
versus like yes, I realize the Switch can do that, but it's not I can also play on a big giant TV and this game doesn't feel fit for it.
Right.
Um but you know, it is what it is. I think it's a good game. If you never played it, I think it's worth trying, especially if you like Luigi's Mansion 3.
Sure.
Um, okay, this other game is weird. It's called The New Denpa Men. It's a weird version of Animal Crossing with mini games.
Huh.
Yep. Take that how
Like.
you will.
Okay. All right.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I want your question. I need your question.
I don't know. This was the wrong question, but it's like it's a mix of Animal Crossing and like what WarioWare or Mario Party.
It looks more like a Mario Party. It's like Animal Crossing meets Mario Party.
Okay. Interesting. Weird.
Um, Metal Slug Attack Reloaded is out today, or the day that Nintendo Direct happened. It is a remaster of those dope Metal Slug games. Um, it is weird to me how popular Metal Slug continues to be.
It keeps chugging along, man.
I think those are fun games, but if you would have asked me like what game of 90s SNK is gonna make it into the future, Metal Slug would not have been my bet.
No. Definitely feels of the time, and yet
And yet it still
it
keeps
just keeps
chugging.
chugging along. It's
It's a
weird.
fun co-op game. It's a and it doesn't really have any competition because Konami just fucked up making new Contra games so hard. So,
As they do.
Gothic roguelike role-playing game Darkest Dungeon is getting a sequel, and that is out July 15th on Switch.
Okay.
The Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass is finally getting a new big update. We are getting Perfect Dark with online multiplayer, Turok with online multiplayer, Metroid Zero Mission, which is a fucking excellent game for the Game Boy Advance, and then The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Four Swords Adventure for the Game Boy with online play.
That's a killer selection.
That is a really good four. Also, man, if we could get 4 people to do Four Swords online,
Oh
that'd be
lord.
chaos.
Chaos.
Um, okay, so Phantom Brave, Ash and Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero. That's a Switch game coming out later this year. It's a very
Okay.
cute JRPG type thing, or no, tactical RPG. Excuse me, like think Final Fantasy Tactics. Um, seems like something that Ninja would enjoy.
Right. Right. You would think.
Yep.
I don't know.
We already talked about it, but the most important thing out of this whole direct, that Marvel vs. Capcom collection.
A lot of Marvel. I'm
Lot,
wondering if Marvel kids of today will be like, ooh, old Marvel game.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. If like younger people with Switch who like Marvel are gonna go out and buy this new Marvel game.
It's not new though. They're all old.
I know, but it's new to them. They don't know that.
Yeah, but they know it's old. They can look at it.
I, I mean, not necessarily indie games and shit. Like I remember I played. Now, granted, this was on the Game Boy Advance. Like I played like Mario Advanced on the Game Boy Advance, and I was like, oh, this is a new Mario game, because I was 11 and stupid.
Sure.
Uh, And
Yeah,
then
I don't know.
and then I found out, oh, it's not a new Mario game. It's a very very old Mario game with a new coat of paint.
I think as long as they put that on the front of their store, hey, check us out.
Yeah,
They'll get some people.
I think yes. We're getting a new Mario Party. Mario Party Jamboree.
All right.
Um, so it's getting a whole bunch of new boards and tons of mini games, including a board set in a mall and another set in a race course. 5 new
Hell
board
yeah.
games, 2 previous from Mario Party 1 and 2, and a 20-player online mode.
Fucking what?
Right? That actually made me want to play it. I'm just like, oh man, you want to know what's better than making 4 people really pissed off? Let's make 20 people really pissed off.
Uh, the max amount of turns has to be like 10.
Oh yeah, dude. I
50
know.
turn, 20 players.
Uh, Phoebe and I did a did a round of Mario Party Superstars, like that collection game, and we
Yeah.
did 15 turns, and it took like 90 minutes.
Yep.
So, you know,
Yep.
coming out October 17th.
That looks like it will be fun for
Uh,
sure.
yes. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. So this is a game where you play. It has that Link to the Past remake art style,
Mm-hmm.
and it is going to be starring Zelda. And you play as Zelda, and you get this magic wand that can duplicate items, and you use those items to do different stuff. It kind of has a couple of pieces of like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom in it, and like how
Hmm.
freeform it is, like how you can like, oh, I'm gonna take this teleporter, I'm gonna take this boulder, and I'm gonna use this boulder to like fight enemies, and now I can capture enemies and make this enemy fight my new enemies.
See, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I'm I'm looking forward to it. It comes out September 26th. They kept this one a real big secret. So,
No
Legend of
kidding.
Zelda, what?
I said no kidding.
Yeah. Coming out this September 26th, and if you somehow do not own a fucking Nintendo Switch, they put out a Nintendo Switch Lite Zelda edition for this game. It's all gold, has
Neat.
Zelda stuff on the back. There you go.
Cool.
Just Dance 2025, that's coming out October. Hundreds of songs in total.
All right.
Lego Horizon, or Lego Horizon Adventures, like the PlayStation game. So
Yep.
Lego Horizon.
Sure. That might get more play.
Um, at least it won't have a protagonist I find whiny and annoying. And then on top of that, it also won't be a generic open world game.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to be much more a Lego game,
Yes.
which they've kind of gotten that formula down pat.
Yep. So, Stray is coming to Switch, and I'm gonna be real, it looks so much worse visually.
I bet it
It
does.
looks
I am not surprised by that.
so bad. This was a game that was originally only for the PS5 and Series X/S, and just watching them try to cram this onto a Switch, it is one of the ugliest things I have ever seen on one of these directs. And it's not the art. Like the art looks amazing still. It's the fact that like this game looks like it's running at like 500p. There is
Mm.
so much aliasing and stair stepping and reduced detail and just oh my god.
They're doing what they can, I guess.
Uh, just guys, just wait for Switch 2. Make that a Switch 2 game. Dear Lord. Um, Lord of the Rings, Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game, is a life sim set in the Lord of the Rings world. So Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, that kind of thing, but it's in the Shire from Lord of the Rings.
That's awesome. I love
Yep.
that.
Doing another Ace Attorney thing. So the two Ace Attorney games are coming to Nintendo Switch as a single collection. Ace Attorney Investigation Collection, and it's out September 6th. So there's that, and it has all the standard things. For those games, Japanese VO, English VO, Japanese soundtrack, full soundtrack support, background, all that good stuff.
Mm.
Uh, the 100 line Last Defense Academy is coming in early 2025, and this is the new game self-funded by the Danganronpa writer. Uh,
Huh.
yeah, it looks like it's a kind of RPG visual novel thing. So instead of yeah, so no, I'm here for it. I
Yeah.
loved Danganronpa, especially the first one. So I'm hella down to play this. Um, we got more JRPGs. Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. Uh, and that's coming out October 24th. Uh, ev- I will say it has the choice thing, like the you can choose stuff and it changes the plot. Um,
Okay.
this game does look great. It looks like a really good JRPG. So,
Looking forward to it.
yep. And then they closed the show off with a big one. This
Mm-hmm.
game was announced 7 goddamn years ago with a like 2 second teaser, and we haven't heard anything. 2 years into that development, it wasn't progressing well, so Nintendo gave it to Retro. Like they restarted development and gave it to Retro Studios. So Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and yeah, this looks fucking ridiculously good. There is honestly questions across the internet right now asking, is this a Switch 1 game?
Mm.
And because, like, yeah, visually it does not look like a Switch 1 game.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, Retro Studios is absurdly good at what they do. I mean, go look at Metroid Prime on GameCube. You wouldn't think that that was running on GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. You're like, this looks amazing for a Wii U game. So this could be a Switch 2 game, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like them putting the 2025 label on it and then having the standard Switch intro screen at the beginning, you know.
Right.
But who knows?
I don't know.
I do think that it's going to be a game that launches on both. And like the Switch 2 version is like, oh, it's gonna be prettier and have some extra stuff, just like
Exactly.
Breath of the
It'll be one of
Wild did
those.
and Twilight Princess did.
Yep.
Um, Kind of have to say this is fucking finally.
It's been a long time.
It's been a good hot minute for Metroid Prime specifically. Metroid Dread is only 3 years old and it's a great game. Highly recommend it. But yeah, man. Ugh. I don't know.
I'm glad they're finally getting it.
Yeah, visually, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, I don't know. This could be a Switch game, but it looks a little too clean to be a Switch game.
Uh,
Like,
yeah, that's the thing is that it's not like fully Nintendo. It's Retro Studios now. Like
well,
again, yeah, they're a good developer. I just don't. Nintendo has a way of working magic with their console to make it look incredible.
I mean, so did Retro. Like I said, they did Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. So like,
I know, but it's been a while. I don't know.
yeah, like it's the last new game they put out was Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, no, I like how visually they do the map pan. They show no, this is still Metroid. It's about exploration and whatnot. But I'm also like, I don't know, because yeah, like I do think this could like, depending on how linear it is, I think this can be a Switch One game. Because like if this was like a massive, massive open world thing like Zelda, it's like yeah, okay, you could tell it's a Switch game by the lack of anti-aliasing.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I don't know. Everything seems very clean. It's
I
hard to
don't
tell.
know. I don't know.
Oh, we'll find out. We'll find out. And that was it. That's what they closed on. A lot of people are saying this was the best show of the summer game season, as we'll call it. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Hmm.
I think Xbox had a great showcase, a very strong showcase. Um, but on the other side of that, I understand why you would prefer this one because Nintendo actually has a track record of putting out good video games and on time and being polished and
It's what we
whatnot.
were talking about before. Like what Xbox did was an incredible showcase. The problem is it was Xbox doing it in 2024, and it's like,
Yep, yep,
okay,
yep. Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. So we'll find out on that note. So yeah, that was the Nintendo Direct. It was great. I really hate that they do these at 7 a.m. on weekdays.
I know
Motherfuckers.
it's the closest you can get to Japan time and America time working out.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does. Um, so there's that, and then the last news story. The last two news stories. So this goes back to the earlier thing we're talking about. Developers are saying that Xbox ports are no longer worth it without a Game Pass deal.
Right.
Um, Many developers are saying the platform is not worth an investment without a Game Pass deal. Microsoft signs various deals with third-party publishers to secure day one for Game Pass. However, this ends up becoming a double-edged sword in the future. They explained Xbox has conditions to use users to play titles through the subscription service. Therefore, developers intend to enjoy the benefits of Microsoft's upfront payment. If they go the other route, studios are unlikely to make a return on their investment. It is also important to note this sentiment came from an indie and AAA teams, but various AAA studios have skipped it as well. Previous Rockstar developer made a similar comment saying developers prioritize PlayStation since Sony has the biggest user base on consoles. Another example is Black Myth Wukong is delayed for Xbox.
I mean, I feel like there are conflicting stories on how worth it the Game Pass deal is for some developers, and then other developers pointing out like, yeah, the cost isn't enough without. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. Story highlights in this particular story say upon signing deals, Microsoft pays the developers immediately upfront, making the investment worth it.
Certainly in the
Um,
short term.
yep. So, oh man, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're in a bad situation.
Right. We'll see if
Black Ops 6 is the one. You gotta hit hard
so.
with it.
So let's idea that comes out of my mind here now is okay. Let's say Black Ops 6 doesn't do it. Game Pass is still hanging around 30 to 40 million people. Do
Hmm.
you just at what point do you go okay? Hey, we got to kill Game Pass, or we have to make Game Pass
Ooh.
more expensive?
Well, that's obviously a much easier
This is much easier
choice
pill
for
to
them.
swallow, but like even then, like okay, people aren't buying games on your platform. You can't afford to go out and buy every studio or get Game Pass deals for every game. You
Hmm.
know, like okay, well, fine, we'll make tiered versions of Game Pass, which they kind of already do, because they have Game
Yeah.
Pass for console, Game Pass for PC, Game Pass Ultimate, and Game Pass Core.
Hmm.
Um, but like, do we make another more expensive tier that's like, fine, we'll go make deals for all the third-party games, but this is a $40 a month tier. You know,
Right.
like th- you know, and that kills kind of their day one on Game Pass sentiment. Day one if you have the super fancy edition, or do you sit there and go, we just need to kill the service, like we can't do this, or do what Sony does and like, hey, a couple of indie games a year come day one, but generally this is for games that are like a year old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. If Black Ops doesn't work, doesn't bring in the people that you need, you can go back to just yeah, raising the price and then just kind of letting Game Pass kind of die on its own, and then you go back to the traditional console setup, which they're not great at.
But like, do you think they could be at soon, depending on how these next handful of games work out?
Right.
Like, if Perfect Dark is a banger, if Fable is a banger, if Gears E Day is a banger, then okay, we're having some conversations. It starts to get a lot more interesting.
Absolutely.
Um,
But history is not on their side right now.
no, no, it's not. Not at all. Not.
And it makes this such a huge bet. Again, I don't know if you can if Xbox has a bigger bet than this.
I don't think they do. I think that handheld could be interesting.
If they got some crazy handheld that offers something really new and different or something like,
I don't
yeah,
think it needs to be new and different. I think it just needs to be, hey, this is a Series S
good and competitively priced.
that is competitively priced, which they can do because it's a console. They don't, they make money on every game sold on the motherfucker or Game Pass sub for the motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I think they could do something very competitive with a portable if it, you know, if it comes out and it's actually, good. And their hardware has been great. Their
Yeah,
hardware ever since the Xbox One X has been just perfect. But it's, you know,
yeah.
yeah, this is hard. They put themselves in a really hard situation. Um, so,
Mm, yeah.
um, yeah. Last news story we have.
All right.
Senior Riot Games dev says the League of Legends player base is getting older, with fewer newbies jumping in. Candidly, it's not the same situation it was 10 years ago. It's a common problem in long-running live service games. How do you onboard new players into something this complex? It's definitely always a thought of the League of Legends as a young person's game between the fast Twitch esports focus, meta K-pop tie-ins, and overtures to streaming and influencer culture. Um, and yeah, but apparently those who kept playing League of Legends got older because that's how time works.
It sure is.
And then they apparently the audience is aging up, and you don't have as many people hopping on and getting into it. Roblox and Fortnite certainly spring to mind as new schoolyard favorites. Acknowledge that League has other issues that are putting off new players, like the endemic Smurf accounts from experienced players starting out from scratch, as well as kind of ballooning systems and feature creep other live service games such as Destiny and World of Warcraft have run into. We're very cognizant of the improvement that we need to make in these features, says Lou, the developer, one of the developers and promoters of the game.
Mm,
When League first launched, we saw very, very, very few players at all play ranked. It was all the normals. It was all experimental, learning the game. Then in the middle years, we sort of saw a shift towards more focused on ranked competitive play, especially from people late in high school and college. And then yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Not surprised.
yeah, no, and I think that one thing that was pointed out to me recently was the fact that the smartest thing you could do is not try and get League to appeal to kids. Is they made a new game that was basically Counter Strike with some hero stuff, and that's what the kids are playing now.
Exactly.
Um, and I think this has Anthony and I have been talking about MMOs. We're considering doing an MMO episode of Game Cave,
Nice.
and one thing that we talked about is the new player for experience for long-running MMOs is ass. It is completely terrible. The new player
Hmm.
experience in WoW is fine until you get released into the world, and then it is shit. Final Fantasy, it is like fine, except really fucking dry and boring. Destiny is okay until you get out of like Tutorial Island and you're left on your own to figure out why mods are important and what build crafting is and how do I get into raid and dungeons and story content.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Lost Ark, you have such a massive grind ahead of you that even once you're like the tutorial's great and explains everything fine. It's just it catching up to the rest of the player base where everyone is like 300, 500 hours of work. Final Fantasy, similar problem. Guild Wars tutorials are fine, and the game's a
Mm-hmm.
little more flat in regards to progression. But I think it just has it's similar to every other one of these games. It just has such a insane amount of systems and currencies and shit going on under the hood. If you're new, it's hard to get into, and League is the same way. League has 10 years of advancements and changes and like insane shit happening that it's hard to get into.
Yeah.
I mainly know the MMO space in this regard, and even then, like I constantly think about like how do you onboard a new player into Destiny or World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, and um, the answer that those games all come up with is you have your community do it. You
Yeah.
like that's it. Like Final Fantasy, like because if you tell most people, hey, I have a 300-hour story experience before I can do the stuff most of my friends are playing because they've been playing the game for 3, 5, 10 years, whatever it is. Most people are gonna be like, fuck this. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
same thing with World of Warcraft. It's like I have a 30-hour leveling grind, and then depending on how willing my friend is to help me, possibly a 20-hour gear grind. You know, sometimes your
Yep.
friend is really good and really nice and is willing to just be like, "Fuck it, I'll go carry you a whole bunch." But and then in Destiny's case, it's probably the least bad because you have like a 3 to 4 hour new light experience, but even then, like you don't have any exotics really besides what you get out of campaign, so you're kind of limited on build, and then you have to do grind different stuff to get different exotics, and that can be anywhere from a couple hours to hundreds of hours. And it's
Right.
thankfully they made it so you have all the mods now. That's nice. And they did a bunch of other stuff that's also nice. And but yeah, and like all of these games have this fucking problem that it's just like
Mm-hmm.
you know Guild Wars. Here's a 40-hour leveling experience.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Um.
I always do.
So yeah, and I think League is any long-running live service game that's not like super simple. Like the reason Call of Duty can keep going forever is one, they reset every year, and two is it's very easy to understand. Aim gun at man.
Mm-hmm.
Different guns do different things.
Yep.
You're done.
Cool.
You know, like that's all. You know, I'm very curious. Like you're already starting to see it in Fortnite because there are old fogies like me in Fortnite who are like, "Fuck, build mode sucks.
Yeah.
God, I hate this." And there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think the answer is just make new video games. Just,
I
just
mean, that's what these people just did. Is League conquered for over a decade, and then they just made Valorant, and that became the new thing.
yeah, I think that's smart. I think make Destiny 3, make Final Fantasy 19,
Right.
make World of Warcraft 2.
Yep.
I mean, World of Warcraft's probably like they've remade World of Warcraft within World of Warcraft a couple different times.
Right.
That's kind of what they did with Dragonflight. Like Dragonflight is the least bad in regards
Now,
to that.
you gotta for Final Fantasy 14. You have to call it Final Fantasy 14 2. Got to keep with tradition.
Oh, baby.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that with the past MMO though.
Not with the past MMO, but it's been done
No,
in Final Fantasy before.
fair.
I just like thinking about 10 too. That's just me.
I think 10-2 is a pretty good game. I don't think it's as good as 10, but I did enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
that job system is real good. I think that that they chose a good crew, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So,
Yep.
all right, well that's all our news. That's it for news.
News. It's over.
It's over. So you play anything?
Destiny.
Same.
Destiny.
Same.
I'm booting up Steam right now. I couldn't tell you. I've been so damn busy that I think Destiny is all it's ever been. Yep.
I put some more time into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I got through 3 chapters to go. I'm at Cosmo
Mm-hmm.
Canyon.
Okay.
Just got to Cosmo Canyon. Story continues to be great. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like burnt out on side content though, so I'm just beelining to the end.
Fair enough.
Bahamut can go fuck himself. I don't care. I'll go watch the YouTube video of his summon and his limit break. I can't.
Yeah.
um,
Get through it.
yeah. The story's great. Combat's a lot of fun. Um, yeah, the game's dope. Game is dope. So other than that, wanted to pick up Street Fighter, didn't. I
Yeah.
think it was,
It's Hey, Bison's out in a few days, so
yeah, yeah. There you go. What else? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
It's been.
overwhelmed. I'm like Destiny. We've been playing Destiny and enjoying that, and then I've got Dawn Trail coming up here, and it's like I don't got time for shit.
I, so I'm at peace because I just gave up on doing Dawn Trail at launch. I
Yeah, no,
just
you're fine. You don't. Yeah, you're not worried about that. But
well, it's
I am not.
are you afraid to be spoiled? Is that what's going on?
Well, I don't want to be spoiled. And I also fucking love the Final Fantasy 14 and its story and its characters. So
Yeah, that's I yeah. It's just that like I like the story, but Endwalker seemed like such a good jumping off point, especially after I played the post game like 6-1 to 6-5, and I was just like, this all felt like a filler arc in an anime.
see, I'm fine with filler arcs.
this I'm fine with filler arcs if they're really good, and that one was fine. I liked
I just
this.
like being here with the characters and doing stuff. You know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to do the Dawn Trail story, but I'm waiting. It's like
That's fine. Yeah.
it,
No, I took
I
my
just
break. I'm gonna come back here, and it'll be down the rabbit hole again for a little while.
yeah. How long are one of those stories? Like 80 hours?
Uh, let's see how long to beat the Shadowbringers. Let's just say. Oh God, just bring up the actual site. Internet,
So
you know what I want.
the median according to how long to beat is about 58 hours.
Yeah,
So
58 to
uh,
what? 263. Yeah, no. Yeah, 80-ish. And Walker 79 and a half hours, so 80
what?
hours.
Endwalker did not take me that long. It
Oh,
was
there we go.
long.
50 hours. That the median is 80
Yeah. Yeah, because I
or
don't.
quickest 50.
Yeah, and I typically do the quickest because I read fast and like it's mostly reading. So
Stormblood is median 94 hours, quickest at 59.
I'm gonna very much track my Dawn Trail playthrough very closely because these seem longer than. But that well,
Yeah, median for Heaven's Word is 93, but the quickest is 63 and a half.
okay, so it took me 330 hours to finish Endwalker from the beginning. However, Anthony and I did take about 30 hours of detour for mountain farming. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
say 300 hours divided by Endwalker, Shadowbringers, Stormblood, uh, Heaven's War, so divided by 5. So yeah, about 60 hours in expansion in my case.
All right. Yeah,
That's my average. So,
sure.
so yeah, I don't know. I'll probably hop in. It seems like July is going to be my dead month. I definitely need to get to it. Like that Microsoft press conference gave me a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
That Warcraft date because I got the fancy edition. August 23rd is when I need to have every game finished. That is
Right.
my time limit.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then the MMO binge begins of the century.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, because the second that you hear that famous drum line, it's like, all right, back to Azeroth we go.
Right.
Uh, which
Yep.
I'm excited. Start of the World Soul Saga, bunch of smart changes. Um, yeah, no, and also it's yeah, and then most of my guild is kind of off playing other games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like our guild master is off playing Warframe right now.
Huh.
You
Yeah.
know,
All right.
I'm off playing Destiny. Like we got people playing. We got some people going to 14. We got like it just everyone's off doing different games right now, and yeah, it's a
That's what it is.
yeah, because we did all the stuff we wanted for season 4, and then Mists of Pandaria remix was like a fun 2-3 week distraction, and now it's kind of like just everybody's off doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. That's all good.
yep. Yeah. So I think that's it. We were supposed to stream a Destiny raid tonight, but one of our raiders got sick.
Yep.
So Duncan, we hope you get better. Feel better, bro.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be back to raiding. We'll be back to raiding for the first time on next Sunday. We'll be picking up Vault of Glass and doing that, which is perfect because that gives us another weeks to get builds together. I got a pretty fun Thunderlord thing ready to go for DPS, and I hope it turns out well.
I hope it does too.
All right. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye. We love you.
See
Thank
ya.
you for watching the program.